So we'll start off here by logging into the eLumen website. For this video, I'll be using the test site. However, for you, when you revise your courses, you should be using the live eLumen site at the address below. The first thing we'll do here is we'll set my role to faculty. And then we'll change the subject area to the course I want to revise, in this case biology. I'll go to Curriculum, click Curriculum Library, and then I can start searching for the course I want to revise. You can either use the course title or the course identifier. In this case, I'm looking for Biology 6, so I just type BIOL, and I have Biology 6 right here. The first thing I always recommend doing before you start a revise is you download a copy of the COR. So we're going to choose Bio 6, which I've already done. We're going to click View COR Report. You can leave all this information as default. You're essentially going to get the whole entire COR in list form. And we'll go to Report. It'll take eLumen a second to build this report. But essentially we have the whole entire CR here for Bio 6. What we're going to do now is print a copy of this. In particular, we're going to save it as a PDF. If you have Adobe Acrobat installed on your computer, you should have some option to save this file as a PDF. So we'll do that. Click Print to PDF. And we'll just save this as COR. One of the reasons why we're doing this is because we want to save a copy just in case there's any data loss. eLumen still has bugs, so occasionally when we're revising a course, data might go missing all of a sudden. So we want to make sure we have a backup copy. We're now going to click the back button here. We'll have to search again for Biology 6. We're going to select it again. And now we're going to click this button, New Revision. This will give us only one option that's available to us, the Revise workflow. A workflow has two components to it. It has the form itself, and the process the workflow is sent through. So for example, who has to approve the workflow. Here's a quick summary of the approvals and the process for getting this workflow approved. While I was showing you that screen, we gave eLumen a second to load. A couple of things I want to point out with this workflow form is you have this eye in the top right hand corner. This is where you can access reference materials. So if you ever get stuck, click on the eye. Another helpful part of this workflow form is the workflow tools. You can click this and it will show you the workflow guide, which has 2 items outstanding. So in order to submit this revision, we have to change the first effective term and the proposal rationale type. Essentially, we need to say when this revision starts and also why we're doing the revision. This would be, of course, on top of any revisions you make to the actual course itself. So we'll start off by doing that. We'll choose proposed first effective term. We'll set it to fall 2023. And we'll choose a proposal rationale type. We'll of course choose the effective term that suits your course, as well as the correct proposal rationale type. But here we'll just assume this is a 6-year periodic review for a non-CTE credit course. So you can see the workflow guide now says there are no issues. We fulfilled the 2 issues, and because of that, we now have a submit button right here. We of course haven't made any revisions to our course, so it wouldn't make any sense to submit this. But for now, we'll save this as a draft. When we save as a draft, your course gets stored in the curriculum dashboard. If you ever can't find a course, make sure you're set as faculty and make sure you have the correct subject area selected here. So we'll go to Biology 6 again. So you can see it's right here. We're going to click Actions and then View Workflow. This will reopen up the revised workflow for us. We're again going to give it a second to load. And you can see here we're ready to start revising our course. This course has not been revised since it was imported from ECD, so we have to make a couple of changes here. One, for example, is checking my name right here. And another major one is digitizing these addenda. If you remember, we used to do student learning outcomes and DE addenda for our courses. However, these now have to be input into eLumen directly. Essentially what we have here are the original Word documents. So these need to be retired. We need to make sure that these are brought into eLumen. And you'll find various spots to do that. For example, there's this DE/honors tab where you can enter DE data. It's hard to see here because it's cut off. There's a curriculum map. We can take a look at that. We can see here we have the CSLOs and the ISLOs on the horizontal axis. Just like you did with the SLO addenda, you're going to check boxes to align these course student learning outcomes to the institutional student learning outcomes. So again, same exact idea as the SLO addenda, but here we're going to digitize it as part of this revision. Don't forget there are also program student learning outcomes. You'll do the same thing where you align these CSLOs to the PSLOs. To figure out what to check here, you're going to look at that SLO addenda where you've already done this process. Here again, we're just digitizing it. You also want to make sure that the correct degrees are selected here. So here we have both the Biology AA and Biology AST, which is correct. So again, do make sure to take a look at your DE and SLO addendas and make sure they're digitized in eLumen in the correct locations. Other than that, you can start making changes to the course. One thing you should be careful of, though, is that some of these boxes have district attributes in them. For example, if we want to change the transcript abbreviation, that affects all the other 8 colleges of our district. So changing a district attribute should be avoided as much as possible, unless it's absolutely necessary. So what we'll do here is we'll change actually the catalog description for this course. So we're going to go to this first tab over here, Proposal. Let's imagine you want to delete this sentence right here. We'll click Save as Draft. And here we're going to click Actions again. I'm going to click View Change Report. The change report is nice because it shows you the changes you've made in the new COR. So for example, we deleted that sentence. You can see here that it is struck from the proposed version of the COR. So on the left-hand side we have the current version. On the right we have the proposed version. So for example, if you want to show a colleague what changes you're planning to make, this is one way to accomplish that. To submit this, though, we'll go to View Workflow again. And we're going to click Submit. It will now tell you where this is going to be sent to. So we'll click Yes, Submit, and it will be sent to your division chair.